Hello and welcome to my gallery here in southwest France and my channel Enjoy Watercolour Painting. I'm Diana. I paint and teach watercolours here in this lovely old building, and it's the summertime now, the sun is shining, and we have our student exhibition here behind me, some of the watercolours that my painters have done over the last 12 months. And also in the summer, I try to come up with different ideas and different classes with specific subjects that we don't cover in the normal run of painting classes. And so one of the subjects that I've decided to develop and explore a little bit more are watercolour pencils. We've used them routinely in the gallery for many years just to help with straight lines, because sometimes painting a straight line is the most difficult thing of all, and if you use a watercolour pencil you can use a ruler and get it straight first time. But I think they have more potential, and so in preparation for the summer classes I've been trying to explore different papers to use, different brands of watercolour pencil and different techniques. It's proving to be quite interesting. And so in today's video, you're going to come with me to explore some of these different techniques and ways of working and different effects that we can achieve. So let's paint. I have quite a selection of artist materials here, accumulated over the years, I have to say. Watercolour crayons. I'm not going to use any tube watercolours today. And I've got different quality of crayons, or so I'm led to believe. Here we've got a very, well, quite old, I've had it a long time, tin of Tesco's watercolour crayons, the cheapest of the lot really. W.H. Smith produced this box of crayons which we were gifted. Someone came along and said we could use them in the gallery because they no longer wanted to use them. So we've been using these crayons in the gallery for quite a few years, and they do work, and the selection of colours is really good. But then I kind of pushed the boat out and thought, okay, so we'll try some of the high quality watercolour crayons. These are Caran d'Ache, and they're quite expensive. They're museum aquarelle, and I purchased them individually because really I couldn't run to buying a big box like we have of the W.H. Smith crayons. So I have a selection of colours here, some of which we're going to use in the video today, just to see what the difference is, how it compares with the cheaper brands. So that will be interesting. I have my usual 2 pots of water, and I'm going to try these different images out on different papers. I'm going to use some watercolour paper, but I also have samples of paper that some of the art suppliers send to me from time to time, a whole range of different rough and smooth textures, some watercolour paper, some not. And this will be interesting to see which papers work best with the watercolour crayon. I think this is going to run this subject, and possibly we won't manage to cover it all in just one video. But I have made a start already taking a subject like the dried flowers I have here, and this is a very detailed study of the dried flowers on just ordinary smooth card. and that worked quite well. And another one here, which is a peace lily, which has died, very sadly, brown peace lily flower, but there's still beauty in it. And so I used the watercolour crayons again. This was the Caran d'Ache, and I was pleased with how they went on. And this is, again, white card. It isn't watercolour paper, but we'll see how we go. I do have an image as well here on black paper using white crayon of an old car, and you can see how striking white crayon is on black paper, which is something else to consider. So we've got quite a lot of different variety and choice in what we do. So let's see how we go. The hydrangea flowers are going to be the first subject that we're going to paint using the watercolour crayons. You can see the image, and I'm using hot pressed paper, which is very smooth, has a satin texture. And as you can see, I'm using one of the Caran d'Ache dark green watercolour crayons to create the little florets that are in the middle of the hydrangea flower. The crayons make it easier to be precise and delicate, and the photographic image that I showed you does show exactly how it's a combination of little tiny blue flowers and buds. And so I'm using the liner brush as well as the watercolour crayon to dampen the colour once it's been applied with the crayon. And I've taken one of the flowers of the hydrangea, and with the crayon just adding colour to the dry paper, and then with the liner brush just moving the colour. And the moment that the water makes contact with the crayon, it turns into watercolour paint, miraculously, really. But I'm working with a very minimum of colour. I hope you can see it clearly enough, because I want the flowers to be very delicate, and I'm not using much paint, and I'm not putting much pressure on the crayon either. Here I'm using one of the W.H. Smith crayons, the Permanent Rose, and moving it and blending it with a light blue to give a kind of violet colour. It is very, very delicate, and once the surface of the paper is wet, I can use the crayon to add more colour, and it immediately becomes like watercolour, and I can move it. It's quite a long drawn out process, but as you see, I've managed to now move the colour which I added between the buds in the centre of the flower. I can then start to wet the area between my crayon marks, and because as soon as the water touches the crayon mark, it comes alive and we can move it. So you have the accuracy of a crayon with the fluidity of watercolour crayon. Now I want to start to darken that area to add more contrast. So I've chosen one of the Caran d'Ache crayons to do just that, to add darker colour between the little flower buds that I did in the first frame. I found that the Caran d'Ache, the better quality crayons, did hold more pigment and were darker and more fluid. But really we're splitting hairs. The cheaper crayons worked almost as well. So I'm not sure that they're worth the extra expense. Time will tell really as we carry on with this experiment. But you can see now I've quite a lot of contrast, and the finished image shows you exactly where the colours are. Now we're going to something entirely different, a rough sea. The watercolour image that you've just seen has been painted with conventional tube watercolours. But this time I'm going to use a selection of watercolour crayons, pencils, call them what you like, and I've used a ruler to get my horizon line. Because I want the sky to be quite loose, I'm wetting the colour first. But I know it's going to be more difficult to get that very soft, fluid look using the crayons. But I'm going to give it a go anyway, because this is purely experimental and the paper is shiny wet. So now I'm just using one of the cheaper blue crayons just to add a little flash of blue in the sky. Very pale for a start, wetting the paper more. Remember, I wet it already, but I've wet it a little bit more so that when the crayon makes contact with the paper, it immediately becomes watercolour paint, which I can then spread with the brush. And this is a Caran d'Ache crayon. Aubergine is the name of the colour. And again, I'm putting it on wet paper, then it's easier to move it. I'm adding a darker, actually Payne's Grey crayon to the top, because I want this to be a dark stormy cloud, because this is a stormy sea. Taking it right down to the horizon line, and then it starts to move just as you would expect ordinary conventional watercolour paint to move. It starts to blend with the colour around. I was quite pleased with that effect. It still looks a little bit gritty and granular, but the paper I'm using here is not the hot press that I used for the hydrangea. This is a rough Arche paper, very strong, very durable. And as you'll see from the coming procedure that we do, it needs to be as well. The colour moves easily. It's moving now with the brush, which I was quite surprised about, because, you know, I didn't expect it to move so freely. And I enjoyed this part of the painting because suddenly it started to take shape and that stormy sky really starts to blend. And the blue flash is good, I think. Then I'm thinking about the waves, the stormy waves. Now this is on the dry paper, but I have added two colours, Payne's Grey and the Aubergine, and now I'm just washing it with the brush. Although this is speeded up, I was still working quite quickly. I just wanted to create that feeling of the turnover of the wave, and it's easier, I find, with watercolours to leave lighter areas and to target the colour in the right place. So from that point of view, I found it better. I won't say easier, because it is quite difficult to spread the colour. And you've got that granular appearance. Now I thought, okay, we have a Prussian blue crayon, so I'll try that. It was too blue. So I've immediately gone in with the Payne's Grey as well and blended it a little. And now I need to kind of think about adding Prussian blue to the top wave as well, because I don't want this to be a different colour. I want them to match with one another. I have to say I was enjoying this. I'm not really knowing how it was going to turn out, but I was just enjoying the process. And I think with more practice, more trial and error, we'll get there better. But this is just pure, just an attempt at creating an image with colours and textures that I haven't used before. So it's just an adventure, and you always have to treat it like that. I'm using a white crayon as well to kind of introduce. I didn't know how effective this would be, and I'm not sure it was effective at all, but the white crayon did help to move the colour a little in quite a subtle way. I found that really interesting, and it gave me some upward strokes to the waves, the crashing waves, which I thought was interesting too. It's a good job this is a good quality paper, because it was really getting some punishment from the just the hardness of the pencils on the wet paper. Had it been a cheap paper, it would have given up and I would have lost the surface and the effect. Now I'm thinking of suggesting rocks in the area where the waves are crashing. It would have been easier to do this with brush paint, I know that, but I'm not taking the easy option. I'm trying to just totally use watercolour crayons to create an image. And so this is what we got. And the paper is more or less all over damp now. And so when I apply the crayon quite heavily, some of it will go in and produce a granular quality, which for the rocks is a good thing. More work with the white crayon just to create that turbulent water. I like the colour combination. Colour combination is working well, and it's not too far away from the watercolour image that I showed you at the beginning of the process. So there we are. That's more or less the finished image. What do you think? Let me know. Well, that turned out to be quite hectic, really. I seem to do an awful lot in a short period of time. Although, of course, with the video that you see, it will all be speeded up. But nevertheless, we've got quite a range of different subjects that we have created with the watercolour crayons. The detail is possibly where watercolour crayons excel. And I was quite surprised with the seascape. I was not really knowing how it was going to turn out. It is more abstract than the watercolour, which inspired the picture, but it has lots of movement, and I think there's room for more scope to develop this. Thanks to Nicole for bringing the hydrangeas, beautiful, beautiful flowers. Those of you who follow my videos will know that last year she brought a similar bouquet, and there is a video dealing with how to paint blue hydrangeas with tube paints, not with watercolour crayons. Although the delicacy and the detail we were able to do with the watercolour crayons far exceeds what we could achieve, I feel, with tube watercolour. So we've had an interesting time. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to see more on the subject of watercolour crayons, please let me know. Your feedback is important, as also are your likes and when you subscribe to my channel. I want us all to enjoy watercolour painting and to explore different techniques together. And so, until the next time, I say bye.